Welcome to the Chiton Cigar Podcast, the podcast where three guys light up a fine cigar and getting everything from sports and current events to hobbies, life's little moments, and everything in between. Whether you're here for the cigars, the conversation, or just some good laughs, we've got you covered. So grab your favorite smoke, settle in, and join us for laid-back chats with the Chicago twist. Now it's time to put some smoke in the air. Good evening, Marty.
Good evening, Mike. I see you've been working on your radio voice.
I'm trying to perfect it for. I don't think I'm gonna get the Wolfman Jack voice.
No, but, you're not going for the screaming, like they have on. Well, there's the howling, yeah, the Wolfman Jack howling. I was thinking more of the Randy screaming on.
No, Randy Reed's. No,
you're not going to do
I'm going to pass
on that
one. No, I definitely am not going to go in that realm. That's for sure.
That is definitely not me. That's the favorite part of a lot of people of the show. Say a lot of people.
Yeah, I turn it down. For those of you that don't know what we're talking about, it's a Flavor Odyssey with Cigar Dojo. Every Wednesday night they run a podcast, and one of the segments is called Randy Reed's. Yeah, it's when I hit the mute button. So, but yeah. So what's going on? What's happening? I haven't talked to you in a week or so.
Not a whole lot. Just enjoying the little bit of faux spring we're having.
Yes.
Snow's all melting.
52?
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's crazy. I mean, you leave the house and you get your winter jacket on, and when you're coming home from work, you're throwing your winter jacket in the back seat. So it's this is not. I mean, this is good weather, but it's bad weather because this is where everybody gets sick. Although for like the next 10 days, we are pretty much set here in the Chicagoland area with 40+ weather. So,
nice.
Yeah.
And then it'll be tornado season.
Yes. Or we're gonna get some St. Patrick's Day dumping of 10 inches of snow or something like that. Oh,
yeah, I'm sure it'll snow at least once more.
We'll see. Again, it's been a pretty mild winter.
Yeah.
You know,
there was a near miss in Chicago at Midway today.
Was there?
There was.
Another one? Oh, jeez.
This was someone crossing the runway while someone was trying to land. So for some reason, I enjoy watching these airline channels on YouTube. And they always have the real ATC communication, so you can hear the pilot talking to the tower and the ground people. And this Southwest flight was coming in for a landing, and this express jet was supposed to hold short of the runway and wait for him to land, but he crossed, and so the Southwest guy almost had his wheels on the ground. There was a video of it, and had to do a go-around.
I'll have to ask my son-in-law. He works for Southwest, but down in Missouri, so I can ask him what he heard. But the company that I work for, we deliver fuel to. We don't deliver airline fuel, but we deliver fuel to both Midway and O'Hare for different projects that are going on. And I know one of the ones we just had yesterday, either Monday or Friday. The driver refused to go out. He's like, I'm waiting right here until somebody comes and escorts me out because of the way things have been going. He goes, I'm not going to get hit by an airplane. So, yeah, it's that's crazy.
Gotta have your head on a swivel these days.
Mm-hmm. There's a video, I think it's a TikTok video I saw of a guy that, one of these, hey, we're going to fly down to Miami. And he goes, we're doing what? He goes, we're going to fly down to Miami. He goes, no, we're not. He goes, let's see it. I'm in the Midwest. That's about a 20-hour trip. I'll drive it. It's safer to drive than it is to fly right now because that stuff's just falling out of the air. So, yeah, I don't know. It's scary. I'm glad I don't have any flights coming up anytime soon. So, but yeah. So, big news this week. big news this week. We hit YouTube. We have a video on YouTube.
We do.
So
yep.
if you're listening, head on over to YouTube and check out. Is it last week's episode?
I think it's 2 weeks ago.
Or was it you and Teddy's?
No, it's the Under the Big Top episode.
Okay. Oh, the Under the Big Top. There we go. So a classic, if we have such a thing.
Yeah. That was I really enjoyed that one, so I wanted to put that one up there first.
Yeah. So hopefully for those of you listening to us, you will see that more over the coming weeks and months until we can hit our 50 subscribers. We're going to try to upload our videos, and you can see our ugly mugs if you want to, or if you just want to listen to it, it'd be on Spotify and iTunes and Podbean. You can check those out there. But yeah, we're trying to move right along.
What's that? We're not there yet on iTunes. We're on Spotify, but are we on iTunes? We're on Spotify,
now? Yeah. Hopefully iTunes soon. It shouldn't. There was a glitch we realized as we were going through and doing some checking. We realized that for some reason our feed was not hitting iTunes, so we got to take a look and see what's going on with that and get that all fixed up. So that should be happening here in the next couple of weeks and get that.
Oh, the glitches! Away. There's always a glitch with something.
Yep.
Speaking of glitch, have you been playing at all with the Grok AI on X?
No. Have you tried it?
Oh, yeah. I actually was able to code a video game in like an hour.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Like an asteroids game. So I coded... I wrote the prompts into the AI saying what kind of game I wanted, and then cut and pasted the code into a Python file and ran it.
Wow, look at you go. You're making me start to shiver when I think back to my college days when I had to do coding and all that kind of stuff from my here you go. You ready for this one? My computer science minor.
Nice.
Yes, I was telling somebody about that. I said, that's when we had the big old data sheets. Remember the green and white striped? And we had to write everything out on that. I'm thinking, my gosh, kids nowadays will laugh at us.
Oh, yeah. So, I don't even want to think about the computers that we had when we were younger. Now we've got like an AI that will write code for you right on your phone.
Yeah. Yeah. I was happy with a word processor. I can remember typing stuff out on a word processor and thinking out, and had a hard disk. Like, it's a hard disk and a word processor. This is cool. So
yeah, because the hard disk was an upgrade from the floppy disk.
Yes, it was. So what are you smoking tonight before we get any further?
Tonight I am smoking UF4, Drew Estate UF4. That's the Casa de Monte Cristo Chicago exclusive. This one's from 2022.
Wow. This is a little yellow on that cello. Very nice.
A little bit.
Very nice.
They're aging nicely.
Very nice.
How about you?
Yeah, nice. I am smoking the Amendola Maturo. And it's funny. Can you see it? Probably not. That's okay. But it's Maturo. So I like the Amendolas, and I pulled this out from my stash. So enjoying that. I've got a couple others that I really enjoy.
They make the cannoli blend or something.
Yep. Yes, they do. And this has got the Habano wrapper with the Criollo binder, the Dominican Republic filler, as we continue to think about Drew Estates and their Dominican Republic adventures. So, but for a Maduro, I think it's pretty mild. But we can talk about more about that as we go on. You got some, I shouldn't say exciting news, but you cracked some news today about a new release. You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, I was following on the Steve Saka Facebook account, and he put something out. I had seen all these shops offering this. He's kind of doing a takeoff on the Chinese New Year cigars. Everyone is doing Year of the Dragon, Year of the Snake. He decided to do Year of the Duque, which is named for Chris Duque, who's a big Dunbarton supporter. I got to meet him
in Hawaii.
Yeah, he lives in Hawaii. He apparently used to be on, like, he was a TV, I don't want to say he's a TV star, but he was like a bit actor in TV shows. Like, it was either Hawaii Five-0 or Magnum PI or something that was filmed in Hawaii. But he's big into cigars now. And I met him when I was at Secreto when they had the Dunbarton event there. He came from all the way from Hawaii to help out with the Dunbarton event at Secreto in Detroit.
Jeez.
So Steve is doing a limited 1 year only release of the Year of the Duque, and he made, I think he said 2,000 boxes. And he put there were a few sites that were offering pre-orders, but they hadn't gotten their cigars yet, and I don't even know if they've been allocated what they had gotten, but they were taking pre-orders for it. Even Abe at Smoke Inn had a pre-order with a coin with like Chris Duque's face on it and stuff. But then, so Saka put it out there. He started accepting orders at 9 a.m. and he was like oversold by 1 or noon or something. So now he's got to figure, and he still had a bunch of order forms that were returned that he hadn't gone through. So it'll be interesting to see what happens with that. If these companies that are, he said he warned the companies that were doing these pre-orders to not do that because they're not guaranteed anything.
Right.
So it'd be interesting to see what happens there.
Yeah. Yeah. Because when you said that, I headed over to Smoke Inn and they're still taking orders. I mean, I put in 2 boxes and added them to my cart. I didn't buy them, but I added them to my cart and nowhere did it mention, hey, sorry, we've oversold or anything like that. So who knows? Maybe Abe bought 400 boxes
and their biggest account, right? You would think.
Yeah.
I would imagine he's their biggest account. They even hired someone to deal with the Florida region because of Smoke Inn for Dunbarton. So
that young lady, I can't think of her name offhand, but So, well, that'll be interesting. That'll be interesting to see how that plays out over the next couple of days.
So you put them in your cart. Did you actually order them?
No, not at 200 and it's like $208 a box or something like that for.
Yeah.
So
I ordered one.
No, did you? Did you a whole box? Wow,
I did.
Wow, well, you're a Dunbarton guy, so that makes sense.
I am a Dunbarton guy.
Yeah, I mean, I like Dunbarton. Don't get me wrong. With things going on this year with the podcast, and I'm sort of shifting my focus a little bit more. I've talked about that before, but I'm sort of trying to be more focused on new releases and being able to try those new releases and giving our listeners an honest opinion of what I think about a cigar. So that's sort of my focus. We'll see. We have no sponsors. Anybody that's listening that wants to sponsor us, we'll be happy to entertain that offer. But we have no sponsors. So I think when we give you a review of a cigar, not that somebody else isn't giving you an honest review, but a lot of those companies or sites that do reviews are getting those as part of their sponsorship to go, hey, review our cigar. So when you hear myself, Marty, or Teddy reviewing a cigar, it's our hard-earned cash that bought that cigar. So we're going to tell you bottom line what we think about it. So,
if someone gave us a cigar to review, would you do it, or would you hold off due to ethics?
I would do it with the understanding that, hey, I'm going to be honest. If I don't like it, it might get a low rating, so if you don't want me to be honest, then
And
don't give it to me.
you disclose that you got them for free.
100%. Yes. Yeah, 100%. There's a couple of reviewers that I listen to that I identify with that are very upfront and honest, going, these are supplied by the company to us and ask us to review them. So, okay, good. At least I know, versus I think there's some others out there that get them for free as part of their sponsorship, and then they realize that if I want to keep the sponsorship going, I got to give them a favorable review. So
I'm sure that happens. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and to each their own. That's just not what I would believe in doing. Right. I like the idea. That right now that everything that we're going to be reviewing, we have one coming up probably in 2 weeks with the West Tampa Circle of Life. We'll be reviewing that live on air. So we'll review that. And then we each have another one to go back and smoke. And then we will rate it and, and post that hopefully on our either Facebook page or Twitter accounts or Rumble or whatever we can do. So
all of the above.
Go from there. Yeah, all of the above. There was other breaking news. Friday, for anybody that doesn't listen to Smoke Night Live, it's the Cigar Dojo podcast that's out every Friday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. It's 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 8 p.m. our time. So yeah. But Smoke Night Live had on Nicholas Perdomo III, and he revealed details about the upcoming Perdomo Legacy line. So that was interesting. I'd actually heard Dave Garofalo speak about that on the Cigar Authority, and talking about he went to Nick Perdomo's 60th birthday party, and they gave them 3 unbanded cigars and told them to smoke the one on the left first. And after they started smoking them, they revealed that these were all 3 of the new Perdomo Legacy line. So they have a Connecticut, a Maduro, and then a Nicaraguan shade wrapper. And so these should be coming out, I believe, in May. I thought is what they said. But Nicholas Perdomo III, this is his line. This is what he's put his heart and soul into. So there's no relation to Nicholas's birthday, 60th birthday. But it's a I think they said a 5-year project they've been working on. I don't remember exactly, but yeah, so that'll be coming out. But an interesting thing I heard on Cigar Authority was for them to do the Nicaraguan shade, they had to dig 8 feet down because they were too high for the I don't want to call it cheesecloth, but the stuff that they put over the tobacco for the shade aspect of it. So they had to dig 8 feet down to be able to get it low enough. And that's how good the soil is there in Nicaragua. They can go 8 feet down and still have good soil.
They're not getting into clay or something, even 8 feet down. But they needed to be that low for the shade to work.
Yeah, it sounds like it's obviously they're probably a little bit higher. So maybe if the way the shade was set, if the sun's coming up, then I would imagine that it's going to hit. So they figured they had to go down deeper, almost to be at, I don't want to say ground level, but just below ground level, so that as the sun was up in the morning hours and in the evening hours, it wasn't going to bake the
roots
tobacco on the sides. Yeah. So I'm actually looking forward to that line. It's going to be an expensive line. So I don't know. I think they were saying it's like $18 a cigar or something or more. So that might be a one cigar review.
One cigar review. Yeah. Unless they're really good, then you might be able to splurge for more.
Well, what we'll do is we'll have each one of us will get a different line, either Maduro, the Connecticut, or the Nicaraguan shade, and go, okay, here's what you're going to review. Buy 2 of them, and go from there. So we'll have to see.
Yep, I'm sure it'll be high quality. They do a good job always.
Yeah, they do. And if Nicholas Perdermo III is, if this is his baby, he's put some time and energy into it and wants to definitely put out a high caliber cigar. And not that I don't think they've put out any bad ones recently that I can think of. The 20th, I know Teddy's been talking about the 20th. He wants to get his hands on that. The 30th was great. So
yep. Highly rated.
Mm-hmm. So I wanted to come up with something different tonight, and we sort of touched on this under a different cigar podcast name. But you and I frequent a lot of different lounges, a lot of different cigar lounges. We were talking about it a couple weeks ago at our local HERF with some guys of, hey, let's check out a new cigar lounge that we've never been to, which got me thinking, what are we looking for in a cigar lounge? When you or me or Teddy's possibly going to be joining us here in a little bit, but what do you want to see in a cigar lounge? What's your expectations? And so I have a few topics, a few ideas that we can sort of dance through. But before we do that, let's give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Eyewear Fix. So, hey, Chicagoland, are you ready to step up the eyewear game? Whether you need stylish sunglasses, prescription eyewear, sports glasses, safety gear, or even color deficient glasses, there's only one place to go. For 28 years, Chicago's premier sunglass and eyewear store has been your go-to for everything eyewear related. No gimmicks, no waiting rooms, just top-notch expert service and private concierge-style expertise tailored to your schedule. Need an exam? Bring your prescription. Want variety? We've got price points for every budget. And whether you're a weekend warrior, a safety-conscious worker, or just looking to turn heads with the perfect shades, we've got you covered. So this is by appointment only because your time matters. Call or text anytime to book your first visit. Don't settle for ordinary. Get eyewear that fits your style, your needs, and your lifestyle. Call or text 630-853-4167. Once again, that's 630-853-4167 to schedule your exclusive visit. Chicago's premier sunglass and eyewear store. See the world your way. We want to thank Chris and Eyewear Fix for being one of our sponsors. So let's jump into the treasure hunt for the perfect cigar lounge. And the first question I got for you is, does it matter the distance from home or work for your cigar lounge? For the lounge that you want to go to on a regular basis, what's the optimum distance, if that's an issue or a key feature for you?
I think the optimum distance is it either has to be on the way to work or on the way home. Or if it's something I'm only doing on the weekend, I suppose it could be maybe 15 minutes, but I don't want to be driving longer than that.
Yeah. I mean, ideally, I agree. Something on the way home, something on the way to work, something near work. If I'm cutting out early or whatnot, I think optimally 15 minutes. I guess I would even venture 30 minutes. That's not too bad. But yeah, my ideal place would be 15 minutes. Back when I was living south of here, I had one that was about 18 minutes from the house, and that was great. It was, hey, I'm going to run and have a cigar. I'll be back in a couple hours. And,
ideally
2 hours later,
it'd be like 5 minutes.
Oh, my next house, I will make sure that's one of the requirements, is that it's within walking distance. That would be ideal. Within walking distance.
So you're going to buy your next house based on how close the cigar lounge is?
Absolutely.
And
Absolutely.
you're hooked.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
You are in the cigar lifestyle fully, Mike.
Yes. Well, we were talking about it. On a whereby on last Wednesday, a week ago. No, I guess last Wednesday. I was thinking. I keep getting confused and thinking today's Wednesday. But we were on a whereby with Terrence Riley from Aganorsa, along with a bunch of other guys, and the topic came up of the villages. So
yeah, I heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. And one of the comments was that there is a cigar store in the villages, but not a lounge. And I'm like, it blew my mind because somebody's not thinking. If I had the money, I'd be down there building a cigar lounge in a heartbeat. You're a golf cart's drive away. I mean, come on. You're exactly. A golf cart drive away. So, yes.
You'd think Florida you could smoke outside year round, but it gets pretty hot. You don't want to be in the outside in Florida in August.
No. I had a friend that was looking at a lounge. He was going to buy a lounge down in Florida, and it was 3 minutes from the hotel. It was 5 minutes from the golf course. It was right on the way. As the road that led to the golf course was the cigar lounge. And I'm thinking, man, that's premium.
Perfect.
And, so, yeah. Well, speaking of which, does it matter the neighborhood? Does it have, I mean, if we're, obviously if you're talking about, I guess if you're talking between 5 and 15 minutes from your home, you're probably living in a city, one of the major cities, really.
Yeah. I guess if you're talking about neighborhood, like I don't want it to be in a bad neighborhood.
No.
You don't want a high crime neighborhood.
Well, there was a lounge here in Chicago. There was the lounge that had a double shooting in one night in the lounge. Yikes. In a decent area, too.
You never know where that's going to happen.
Yeah.
But there are areas that have more crime. Like you don't want to park your car on the street and then get your car broken into or something.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's obviously you want to be in a secure area, a secure neighborhood, even a secure city. I mean, there's definitely some questions, you know what I mean? If you're there for a few hours, you could be leaving 9 o'clock at night, 10 o'clock at night. And, Chicago's got a reputation as it is. So,
right.
You don't want to be a casualty of a cigar lounge. So, yeah, I mean, I definitely look, even now looking at lounges, I'll definitely look at where am I going to and what's it look like. There's a couple in the city that, and we'll talk about that next, is parking, but it's a nice lounge, but there's no parking, and it's so.
Yep. That happened to me once so I went to Fort Worth because we were visiting my sister-in-law, and I went to the Underground shop in Fort Worth, and that's a nice shop in a decent area. But I was looking for a specific cigar, and so they didn't have it there. I stayed there, smoked a cigar. They didn't have the one I was looking for. So I was looking on Google Maps and I said, oh, here's another cigar close by. I'll check that out. I drove by that place and I wasn't going to go in there. It wasn't nice. Didn't look nice.
And well, it's and I'll dive into parking along with the same thing. Is my daughter got married in April of last year. And so the day of the wedding, I had about 5.5 hours of downtime. So I thought, well, I'm going to go to a cigar lounge and I'm going to hang out while the girls and everybody get ready because it's going to take me all of 10 minutes to get ready. And so talked to Terrence, who recommended a cigar lounge because they carried Aganorsa, which of course I wanted. And hour and 10-minute drive from the hotel. So I was dedicated. So part of that 5.5 hours, 2 of it was driving. But I got there and it was only street parking.
Yeah.
And so then I'm looking around, and again, being from Chicago, are there meters? Do I have to pay a meter if I'm going to park on the street?
Right.
So there was no meters. So I parked on the street, but that was on my mind the whole time going, I can't walk out and find out that they've towed my car or that my car's gotten stolen. I mean, it wasn't a bad part of Missouri, but it was sort of like, I don't know this area, so, I mean, for me, if you're going to have a cigar lounge or if I'm going to go to a cigar lounge, I want you to parking on your premises. I think parking on the street, we go there to relax. We go there to have a good time and talk. We don't want to have to think about, does somebody just sideswipe our car or is it getting towed away? Versus if that cigar lounge has its own parking lot, I want to be able to park in that parking lot and, hey, if you're going to charge me $2 to park in your parking lot, I'll pay the $2 to park in your parking lot or something. But,
yeah, if you're deeper into the city, that may not be possible, but I prefer it to have a parking area for sure.
Yeah. What about a cover charge? How do you feel about cover charges?
So I've seen places that say you need to buy 2 cigars or $25 worth of cigars before you can stay there and smoke. I'm fine with that, I guess. They have to pay the bills for the TV service or whatever they've got going on there.
Yeah,
but, just a straight cover charge, and then you have to buy cigars on top of that. Yeah, I don't think so.
Yeah. Well, and I got invited yesterday. I was talking to one of the sales guys for one of the companies that we work with, and he's local, obviously, and mentioned to me about smoking cigars, and so we've had this conversation. He said, "Hey, one of these days," and he gave me the name of his lounge. He said, "Come, let's get together. Give me a holler." He goes, "I'm there every night except for Wednesdays." He goes, let's hang out. Yeah, absolutely. And so I went online to check out the cigar lounge because I'm thinking, okay, well, I've never heard of this one. $25 cover charge to walk in the door. $25 cover. And we'll talk about this in a couple weeks. Bring your wife or somebody, $25 sitting fee. So I'm walking in. It's going to cost me $50 for me and my wife, or it's going to cost me $25 plus. Yeah, then I got to buy. I mean, you can bring your own cigars, you can bring your own liquor, but if you're going to pick up a cigar or two there,
I guess if they're going to let you do that, then maybe that's okay.
Yeah, and so I was trying to look some more. Going, is this more of a cigar club, or is this a cigar lounge? Because it didn't look like you had the ability to walk in the door and just buy cigars and leave.
Mm-hmm.
It sounded like to get in the door was $25. So I'm like,
$25.
Ooh. Yeah.
And there wasn't a band or anything.
No.
For $25.
This is a daily.
I need a band.
Yes. Oh, that would be nice. We'll get to that in a second too. But yeah, I was a little shocked. I am very tempted to go and hang out there and just see what it's all about. It looked really nice, but I'm just curious. So yeah, I mean, I don't mind a cut charge. If you walk in and say, hey, you either buy $25 worth of cigars or you're paying us $25. One of the ones we go to is sort of similar to that. And I always pick up 2 or 3 cigars when I go in there. So, I mean, it covers that cut fee or whatever. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess if I'm bringing somebody, I don't want to, if I'm bringing the wife, I don't want to have to go, oh yeah, okay, here, you got to pay $25 to sit here next to me. That's sort of, I mean, I guess if you're jam packed every night and you need to keep out the straight, I mean, it's one way to keep out the riffraff, I guess.
Right.
They have the $25 fee. So, well.
Yeah, I guess I've seen cover charges at like popular bars. I guess they do cover charges. So, but they're trying to make sure you want to go there. Most bars make up their money with the liquor prices.
Oh yeah, again, and I mean it's interesting. I'd like to study more on it. I'd like to know more about some of the lounges' philosophy, versus, hey, come in and buy 2 cigars and you're good to go. Okay, great. But come in, give me $25 and then buy cigars. Okay, you sound like a private club then, that you're giving access to the public, which is oxymoronic, I guess. But
right.
So, what type of furniture you want to see, Marty?
Comfortable furniture and plenty of furniture.
Yeah.
There was the one lounge we went to in St. Charles. They've got some comfortable chairs, and then they've got a lot of tables and not so comfortable seats on the tables. So if you weren't one of the lucky people who got around in the comfortable chairs, you were not enjoying your comfort too much.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I think that's a it's a big deal. And I think if you're going to open up a lounge, you've got to say, okay, I've got enough seating for 15, but I've got room for 30, and in realizing that, okay, if I have 15 seats, that's good. On Super Bowl Sunday or something else, it's not going to be enough. But at the same point, realizing, okay, I can expand and get some additional stuff. My old age, I want to see recliners. I do want comfortable seating, but some of the comfortable seating, it seems like at times too, is just like, it's like a stiff chair that you're sitting straight up at. And I'm thinking, I kick my legs out or whatever, and I'm thinking, I can't put my feet anywhere. And
even movie theaters you go to now have like fully reclining chairs.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So, I mean, that's my ideal. That's my dream. I know it's not going to happen because, you put 15 recliners into an area and you've just shrunk that space very much.
Right.
So,
This chair I'm in right now is a recliner, but I don't ever recline it.
I don't think I ever smoked now without being in a recliner, other than going to a lounge. When I'm at home, check out those feet and relax. So, television and music. Obviously, we both want television.
I want television, but there's like stuff I don't want on the television. Like, I don't want to see your news show on television. On the television, like, I don't want to see that anytime.
No.
Let alone I don't want to be forced to watch somebody else's news show on television.
Yeah. My feeling with TVs in cigar lounges is there's enough sports on. You can have ESPN, you can have Fox, you can have FS1. Put on sports. Put on the Golf Channel. When I worked at a lounge, I would come in, and that's what I'd put on ESPN on one TV, ESPN on another TV, Fox Sports on one TV. I think I hit Golf Channel on another one. And we would get into fights. Guys would get into fights because somebody would come in and turn the channel on and put on some TV show. First of all, the TV's not loud enough, and I don't want the TV loud enough to hear what's going on in a TV show. If I'm watching a basketball game or a football game or baseball, I got an idea of, okay, hey, scored a goal, made a basket, but news has no place in a lounge whatsoever.
No.
Whatsoever.
There was one lounge I went to where they had like 3 TVs, and they had broken it up into sections, and there was one guy who would just sit there and watch CNN in one section by himself all the time because nobody else in there wanted to watch it.
Yeah. And that's where you get into the debates and discussions that if you and I want to sit there and have a debate over politics, that's fine, but you don't want the whole lounge now chiming into that thing because somewhere, some along the line's not going to agree with you.
Remember the time we went to Ultimate and we were back to the sports thing? We were watching the rugby, but we didn't know the rules, so we were trying to figure out what the rules were while we were watching. That was kind of fun.
Yes, I do remember that. Yes.
I still don't know what the rules are exactly, but
well, speaking of Ultimate, I remember working or being there, and somebody wanted sports on, and it was like, okay, well, the only thing that's on is a replay of, put it on. I don't care, put it on. So okay, yeah. And that's the thing is I don't want the volume on. In music, if you're going to have music, I want it at a level that I can still carry on a conversation. I don't want to hear the bass playing and thumping along and me trying to scream across the room to talk to you or talk to somebody else and going, I'm competing with the music. That's, and
right. And who gets to choose the music? I guess the guy who owns the lounge, but hopefully you like his music. Or he picks something not annoying.
Yeah. I've been in lounges where, that's where almost music is. Yeah, you've got to sort of set it and just go, this is what it's at or not. Because it's, I don't want this. I want this crap on. Or I want this. And it's like, oh, geez. And now you got, 2 or 3 different groups that go, I don't want to hear this. I want to hear this. And there's the TV. Watch the TV. Have enough TVs in there that you can go, you know what? I can get 3 or 4 different sporting events on and enjoy it, versus, the music. Here comes a hot topic. Hookah or no hookah?
I think no hookah.
Yes, I agree. Now, it's funny you say that. Researching our next Herf, I was told that a lounge in Lockport now no longer allows you to smoke cigars in it because the hookah people don't like the smell of it. So it is a cigar and hookah store where you only can smoke hookah.
Well, I guess they weren't getting enough cigar customers.
I think the profit's higher on hookahs. Your average hookah, I think it's like $20 a person. And they'll give you, I call them straws, a straw for each person. But if you're making $80 on 4 people sitting there smoking a hookah, the product they're putting in is probably costing them maybe $2.
I'm sure cheaper than cigars, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. So
I've never even had a hookah, so I don't know anything about it. I've watched people do it, but
I a couple times we'd have 2 or 3 people come in and get one hookah, and it was $20 for the first person. I want to say it was 15 for the second, or it was 30 for the first and 20 for the second. But the profit was ridiculous because you'd go in that little can and pull out just enough hookah.
Right.
I forget what they call it. If Teddy was here, he'd tell us. You put that up there and you light it for them, and that's it. And if they wanted a refill, you charged them. I think the refill was like $10 or $12. So it's like, but no, I'm.
You get the straws. Is there like water in it then?
Mm-hmm. It's a bong. I mean, it's
basically,
yeah. Not that I've smoked a bong. Don't get me wrong, folks. But yeah, it's a bong. So yeah, you get, and each person can suck on their own straw and have a good time.
Do they have like replaceable tips? How do they clean them?
Yeah, replaceable
I would
tips.
think that would be not hygienic overall.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, because you have your own tip, your own straw, but you're still sucking in, what everybody else is. So it's I don't know, not for me.
No,
it's not for me. So, but yeah, I'm definitely. I don't understand where people that open up cigar lounges gravitate then to the hookah side of things. It's a weird dynamic on some of these to go. Why both? If you're that big on it, buy another storefront and have hookah in one and cigars in the other or something. So,
got to make the money.
Here's a question, and I figure we might get some good conversation out of this part. Tobacconist. So there's the tobacconist, and then there's the clerk, for lack of a better word. So what's your feeling on it? I mean, should every cigar lounge have a tobacconist, or is it left up to? I mean, it's obviously left up to the owner, but if you're a cigar lounge, what's your responsibility to your customers?
Well, I think you probably want to have someone expert in tobacco. I don't know. Can you get like a tobacconist certification or something? I suppose you can.
Yes, you can. And we could talk about that one of these days. But yeah, there's a couple websites you can go to actually go to online tobacconist school and get your certification. And I think think you can go all the way up to it. I have a friend who was just in Germany who texted me and said, "What's the difference? What's the proper term for cigar sommelier? I can't pronounce that word.
Wine sommelier.
Yeah, sommelier. Yeah, that's it. And I said, "That's the term." He's like, "Are you kidding me?" I said, "No, that's a expert in cigars." And he's like, "Oh." He goes, "Okay." He goes, the person that was waiting on him in the Davidoff store in Germany, wherever city he was in, called himself that and said, "Here, I recommend you pair this cigar with this drink." And I said, "Oh, he suckered you in there fast, dude." Like, he suckered you in there fast. But yeah, there's different levels. There are different levels that you can go to. Go to your, go through these classes. And the first level, I think, is free. I got to look it up. But the first level is free. And then as you progress, it costs you money to go through these classes.
So I don't think I need one now. I got Teddy.
Teddy's joining us.
Just as I said, I don't need a tobacconist now. Here joins Teddy.
Here comes Teddy.
So I don't need one now, but like when I first starting out, yeah, you kind of want someone who's there who kind of can steer you in the right direction.
Well, and that's what I think. I think there's nothing wrong with a clerk. And I think as a cigar shop or cigar lounge owner, you've got to make that distinction of going, I can have a clerk probably Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. until 2. But from 3 to close, I need a tobacconist in there. I need somebody in there that when the uneducated cigar smoker comes in there can point them in the right direction. Your morning people, your Monday through Friday morning people are us nerds, us experts, or whatever you want to call us, that go in there. We're retired. We're taking a break from work. We know what we want. But I think after 2:00, you're starting to get those guys that come in that go, "Hey, I'm here with a buddy. What should I smoke?" and a clerk's going to point you to whatever they're told to point you to, and a tobacconist is going to ask you all those right questions. How do you drink your coffee? Do you want something flavored or not flavored? Do you want something a little bit harsher? So we're talking about whether or not you should have a tobacconist in your lounge or not, Teddy.
That's a gimme. If you don't, you have some bad results because been there, had people that don't know about cigars, and it's not good. I mean, and especially when people coming into the lounge, and brick and mortars, and they ask for cigars, and if somebody doesn't know about cigars, it's kind of hard to take care of business.
Yep. Yeah.
You want to keep them coming back, right? So
exactly.
You want to steer them to the right things that are going to make them come back versus it can be kind of intimidating the first time you walk into a big humidor and you're like, oh my gosh, what do I pick out here?
My go-to line when I was working at a cigar lounge, my go-to line when people walked into that humidor was, do you know what you're looking for, or are you a kid in a candy store? And they would always laugh, and they're like, I'm a kid in a candy store, and I don't even know where to start. Okay, perfect. Let me ask you a couple questions. And it was a good icebreaker because they go, no, I know what I'm looking for. Hey, perfect. If you need some help, let me know. Otherwise, yeah, I'm a kid in a candy store. Where do I start? What am I looking for? What do you recommend? So yeah, I mean,
show me what you got that's new that I might not have tried yet.
Mm-hmm. And your senior people might ask the same question. It's a great question, Marty. Hey, I've been smoking cigars for 20 years. What do you got that I might not have smoked yet? Here, let me show you our new releases.
Right.
So
yeah, you're gonna have the regular people. Every Sunday when I work or every other day if I work, you'll have your regular guys. It's like, hey, do you have anything new? And sometimes it's just lazy to go around the humidor, but you do have your regular guys that are gonna come in. I'm gonna ask you for something new, so that's not a bad example. But yeah, when people come in, the first thing I say, you're looking for something particular, and if you know what you're looking for, and
yep,
most of the time you do have the guys that they don't know what they want, and you can tell from the beginning if they know about cigars or not, kind of.
Yeah. No, I think it's almost like the lost art of the butcher. You need somebody that knows what they're doing, and I think a lot of lounges have steered away from it because I'm sure too a tobacconist, a certified tobacconist, is going to come in and ask for a little bit more money than your average clerk that goes, can I make minimum wage? So
right.
Yeah. What about food and beverage? Is it a must? Is it a plus? Is it a I don't need it?
I don't want to eat while I'm smoking, so I would say I don't need any food. It'd be nice to have, like, if you're there for a herf or something, it'd be nice to have something that you can order in or walk close by to. But I don't need it in there. And as far as beverage, coffee is nice sometimes. When we go to herfs, we always look for a place that'll let us bring in our own bottles and not give us a hassle about that. But I don't drink a lot when I smoke anyway, so I'll just have a pop or a coffee.
Yeah, I agree 100%, and I'm surprised more and more that cigar lounges are not allowing or not offering people free coffee. I just think it's, it's probably the one thing that pairs the best with any cigar. And I've had experiences at 2 different cigar lounges where I paid $4 for a cup of coffee. I'm like, are you kidding me? So it absolutely stuns me that I've got to pay $4 for a cup of coffee and to go, okay, It cost you what? Probably $3 to make a pot of coffee. You
It
know,
used to cost $4 at Starbucks. I have no idea what they charge nowadays. It's probably more than that.
this was a black cup of coffee.
Just straight
Filled
black coffee
just
should be
black
like
coffee.
$1.50 max, right?
Yeah, made out of a Keurig, filled 3/4 of the way up the glass. Filled up 3/4 of the way out of the glass. I'm like,
no thanks.
Ultimate was the best, and I think it still is. If you guys had the coffee pot you had the coffee pot filled right there. Walk over and fill it yourself.
Yeah, Ultimate. It's Sunday. I made 2 pots of coffee. Yeah, Sunday I made 2 pots of coffee. Usually make 1. I start out like maybe 11 to 1, and it goes away. But Sunday was a lot of people that wanted to have coffee.
Yeah, I think that's my Ultimate Cigar Lounge, not Ultimate Cigar Lounge, but my fantasy cigar lounge. I'm walking in, and when I grab a cigar out of their humidor, hey, do you want a cup of coffee? Hold on, let me pour you a cup. You know,
Right.
It's
and to be honest, you kind of started more having into the flyers when you used to work there. You put it into the flyers, and that's how we boosted up more for people to come and see. A lot of people didn't know we have free coffee. Do you start, having it out there when you were out there?
Yeah.
But complimentary, go ahead.
Go ahead.
And then I don't think there's any lounges that they can provide with food, because the law of having food, consuming or making food with smoking a cigar in a lounge, I don't think so that the law exists, and that's why you can only bring food from outside, right?
Right. Yeah. Because I think at that point, then you're opening. I think if you're making food on the premises, you now become a restaurant, because you have to have all the restaurant certification. So now you've got to allocate certain stuff. But yeah, again, Ultimate I think is ideal because it's got that nice restaurant right next door, and and everything, right there on North Avenue. Hey, I can do a DoorDash and have it dropped off within 15, 20 minutes. But back to the coffee thing, you want a hook? Offer people, hey, buy this mug, and every time you come in here, I'll fill it up with coffee. So you sell a $5 mug, and now you ain't got to worry about plastic cups or styrofoam cups. Here, fill up my mug, Teddy. Okay, thank you. Here you go. And now you got guys going, hey, honey, I'm gonna go to the lounge this afternoon, have a cup of coffee and a cigar. I'll be back by dinner time. All right, and they're walking in, they're spending anywhere from $8 to $100 on a freaking cigar, and they're sitting there. Yeah, I'm a big proponent of coffee.
And also when it comes to, a person buying a lot of cigars, like you said, if somebody spends like $100, $80, if it's at least over $30, $40, sometimes I'm going to give a complimentary also water. That goes far away. They kind of appreciate that. A lot of customers that have given sometimes complimentary water, it's the number one rule that the owner has. It could go far. The person could come back and buy another cigar. And I don't know and I believe so, that other lounges that they have membership, I'm pretty sure it's complimentary for the drinks. Am I right?
I'm sure it is. But the last lounge that we had our herf at, which will remain nameless, I spent $85, and then they charged me $4 for a cup of coffee. And I'm not knocking them.
They told me too that I couldn't light up my own cigars, even if I bought. I bought like 4 cigars there, and they said those are the only ones you can smoke here.
Yeah, and that's a whole nother episode. I mean, I understand cigar lounge etiquette. I understand all that. But at the same point, I don't know your humidity levels in your lounge, in your humidor. we walked into that one and it was blowing out some humidity that I'm like, I would like to have these sit in my dry box for a couple of days, and then I'm going to introduce them to my humidor.
Right.
It's if I walk in and I spend $83 on 5 or 6 cigars or whatever, I don't forget how. I only got 4, maybe 5. If you want to light up your own, go for it.
I don't see what the problem with that is.
Yeah. And I mean, if I'm sitting across from you, you go, hey, dude, what are you smoking? Oh, they don't sell it here, but this is what I'm smoking. Oh, okay, fine. But at the same point, for a lounge owner, I'm sort of walking around and going, hey, what are you smoking? Oh, I didn't buy this here, but this is what I like. I enjoyed these. Oh, I don't carry those. Oh, wow. You're the 4th person this week I've seen smoking that cigar. And mentally, as a good cigar lounge owner, I'm going, I better start researching that brand. I better start researching that cigar, because if I've seen 3 or 4 guys smoking it, I might want to add that to my humidor.
I have encountered a lot of, not just the last one and I didn't know. I thought last time that
All right, what's
we
your
were
next
over there,
question?
like I've seen a lot of.
You haven't asked if we want like good-looking women serving us our cigars.
Are you not hearing Teddy? Are you not hearing Teddy?
I can't hear him.
Can you hear me? You didn't hear me?
Oh, wait.
That's weird.
Can you hear me now?
You're muted. No, you're muted for some reason. I can hear you, but it says you're muted.
Can you hear me now? Hello?
I can hear you, but it says that you're muted. So I don't know if that means... That's weird. Hold on a second here.
What was he saying?
He was talking about something he heard, but it
This
shows
is a
you're muted,
lifelong
Teddy.
dream of mine. Teddy's talking and I can't hear him. Just kidding, Teddy.
What is going on?
You can hear me, but Marty, can I hear me?
Right, yeah. And it says your mic is muted, so I don't know what that means. I mean, I know what it means, but I don't know. I can't unmute you. Oh, there you go. Now you're unmuted. Now talk.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah, like I've seen. I didn't know last time that we worked together that happened at that lounge, because you guys know that I sparked up one on my own. Nobody said anything. I mean, yeah, it's the rules, but I spent $85 last time we went there. I smoked one of theirs.
I've been there before and lit up my own, and for some reason this time she asked me which one I was going to start with, and I said, I don't know, I brought some of my own. She says, oh, we only allow you to smoke the ones from our store. So
and then I gotta.
She wasn't like patrolling the lounge and making sure.
Yeah.
So.
But I gotta agree with Mike, because there's a lot of lounges actually they're not allowing you. There's a lounge, I'm not gonna name the name, that I smoked my own. I bought, I think, 6 sticks from there. Smoked my own, finished my own, and then after I finished, came up to me and said, hey, next time you guys, so you know, it's going to be $20 cut fee. And I was like, what? You could have told me this from the beginning when we walked in, and not like in the end. But there's a lot of...
Guess what? There's not going to be a next time, sir.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Again, my dream is open up my own cigar club. It eliminates that whole problem. Come in with your own cigars, pay your monthly fee. No. So Marty, you jumped into my next question, but people, what do you want? Who do you want? You want the beautiful women walking around, or do you want a bunch of grumpy old guys walking around?
No, I don't care. I just want friendly people.
Yes.
I don't want annoying people.
Yeah. I like Ultimate. Ultimate's got a nice setup that because some people do come in there and work. I could see if I lived within 5 minutes of Ultimate on a Friday going, hey, I'm going to go to the lounge and do my work from the lounge. And I can sit in the back and not be bothered. But at the same point, there's a section that if you want to sit there and jaw jack with people, here you go. You can sit in this section. And that's what I like that ability. I like that ability to have workstations and then have socialization areas. Because there's nothing better. There is nothing better than sitting in a cigar lounge and talking to somebody you've never met before and find out what they do for a living and what their life story is. There's just nothing better.
Right.
Yeah, that's what it comes to the lounge. That's exactly what you supposedly do. And I mean, yes, technology these days, everybody's on their cell phone, somebody's bringing the laptop in, but you're going to have most of the time, most of the guys, talking with each other, talk about life, talk about sports, talk about sometimes politics, talking about a lot of stuff that's what you're supposed to do. My opinion, while you're sitting at the lounge, just smoking and relaxing. Places like
And
Ultimate.
you're not talking on your phone.
Oh, don't start me with that. Yeah. But, places like Ultimate.
But no, let's talk about, hold on. Let's talk about it. But let's talk about it. If you're at a cigar lounge and you need to be on your phone for some reason, walk out the door. And I don't care if it's 30 degrees below zero. Walk out the door. We don't want to hear your phone conversation. We don't care that you're fighting with your wife. We don't care that you just lost $100,000 because the stock market dropped. Walk outside.
Absolutely. Like, I do. I don't have them anymore. I had a customer that even people had a conversation. People will be watching his sport and he'll just have a full conversation. Not only not have it in his ear, but he will have it on speaker and just like you hear the other person's conversation. And he was loud, and I had to talk to him. I haven't seen him for a while, but you gotta respect your others. I mean, if two people sitting within like 7 feet apart and it's kind of talking, and you're like between them or behind them, and you talking loud, it's kind of rude, right?
Exactly. Yep.
So
yep. It's when I was working at Ultimate, it was, hey, take the phone call, walk outside, walk to the back of the lounge. But amongst this group, we don't want to hear your conversation, So that is a huge pet peeve.
Yeah, it has become one of my biggest pet peeve at lounges, and actually happened a few weeks ago with a customer that I don't really know him, but I didn't say anything. Yeah. Sometimes if it's a first time customer, I will not say anything, but that person was coming like every weekend. He was there doing the same thing over and over and over. I mean, how many times you're gonna do this? It's not cool.
It's just rude.
Yeah.
It's rude.
If I'm a lounge owner, that's the first sign you're seeing when you walk into my lounge. Do not be on your phone having a conversation while in the lounge. It's just don't do it. Just don't do it. We were shopping this past weekend, the wife and I. There was a woman carrying on a full conversation in the store. Really? And it wasn't like, hey, honey, can you pick up a dozen eggs? We're out of eggs. It was a full conversation with her and whoever about something somebody did. And it's like, we don't want to hear it. Get out of here. Hey, I'll call you back when I'm done food shopping. Click.
What was it? Was it while you guys waiting on the line, or was like all over the place that you would go?
No, it was. She was walking up and down the aisles like we were. So it was like going, walking past the bread, and she's carrying on a conversation. She make the next turn to the cereal aisle, and she's still in the. I wanted to walk up and slap her. I mean, it was, she purposely wanted to have this conversation. It wasn't one of these things of, okay, I got to go. I'm in the grocery store right now. It was, no big deal. I'm going to carry on this phone conversation. So, all right, let's get to the last one. It's probably going to take us an hour to get through this. But what cigars are a must for a humidor? What cigars, if you're starting out your lounge, we've gotten through everything that you want in your lounge. We know there's cigars that you can have, but what what 3 or 4 brands do you think you have to have in your lounge, or should be in every lounge?
Well, I think we went over like we covered this once in a podcast where there was a survey of what the best selling cigar brands were. I think it was like Fuente, and I don't remember the other ones. I think you got to have Fuente. I got to have Dunbarton.
Sure.
Tatuaje. I would put my favorites in there. Beyond stuff that's not my favorites that I would carry, like Arturo Fuente is not one of my favorites, but it's okay. I'm not sure if there's a brand that I would carry that I just don't like too much. Like, I don't think I would carry the cigars from like the Cro-Magnon cigars. Or
is Drew Estates a must? Is Drew Estates a must for a lounge?
They're pretty big, so yeah, I think you got to have those. Yeah.
That's your gateway. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's an introduction for a lot of people.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. Bargain cigars, or go ahead, Teddy.
My opinion, I think, I have realized that working in the lounge, sometimes you need to have brands that you don't like. My previous, the boss, Ultimate, told me, I have realized that even, and yes, like you said, Cro-Magnon, for example, my opinion, I would not have Rocky Patel, but you need to have your general brands, at least most of them. You need to have, your Perdomos. You need to have, Altadis. I can never say that word. With your Romeo and Juliet, Altadis. Yeah, I can never say that word. You need to have your Cohibas or your Monte Cristos. We got to be honest here. But
can you say Puro, Teddy?
Puro. It's Puro. I really liked the last episode. The last Tuesday's episode was really nice. You guys did a really nice job.
Thanks.
But you need to sometimes if somebody doesn't know and they keep always, like we talked about in other episodes, somebody wants a Monte Cristo and they just want that Monte Cristo Cohiba and they cannot want to try something else. You kind of have it at your lounge. So that way, because we talked about it before, you have multiple types of cigars, guys, right? People. You got the people that they know everything about cigars. You got the people that just come in to buy just a present. You got your occasional smokers that they come in and they're smoking, once a month, twice a month, whatever. Sometimes you got somebody just smokes once a year. So you kind of need to have in your humidor some stuff that you actually don't like and you're actually going to sell to people that like it, even if you don't like it, basically.
Like even gauges, like you gotta have 60 ring gauge cigars, and apparently you need the 10 by 100s because people buy those for some crazy reason too.
I think the thing you've got to have in your lounge is you've got to have a spectrum of ring gauges. You got to have a spectrum of strengths. So if you say, "Hey, I'm going to have this brand," and I know they pretty much focus on the stronger, strengths. Okay, that's going to be my area there, and then I'm going to have these that are sort of focused on the medium strength, and then these on the light, and at the same point rounding out from there. But I think that's the big thing, is that you've got to have cigars that cross all those spectrums. Whether you're getting the veteran in that goes, "Hey, I'm here. What do you have in a Maduro that's full bodied? Oh, I've got this over here. Okay, great." Or, "Hey, I'm new. I'm looking something more on the milder side. What do you have in that area?" And I think sometimes cigar lounges get caught up in name brands, and at the same point, they're missing some of the spectrum for what your average cigar smoker is coming in. You got a guy coming in at 9, 10 o'clock in the morning They might not want a full body. They want something that's going to go well with a cup of coffee. What do you have? Well, we've got this one here. This is but I really don't have anything else. So,
another thing I have is like, you need to ensure that you have not a lot of sizes. Like, brick and mortars, I'm trying to always have and told my boss not to have more than 3 sizes for a cigar. You gotta see what sells for your brick and mortar in your shop. You can't just buy, a petite, a robusto, a toro, a gordo, a Churchill. It's yes, there is brands out there that you required their own laws that you need to have multiple faces. I'm not gonna name any brands right now, but in some brands you don't have to do it, because you could just get only Toro or Gordo, and that's one of the 2 sizes that people like on Ultimate. Believe it or not, Gordos Ultimate sells every day. No matter what, I think the Gordos and the Toros is the best selling, and I have got down to telling Jimmy that works there in the mornings to just keep ordering kind of like Toros and Gordos. Yes, I'm gonna get my Robustos. Bringing out Black Label Trading Company to the lounge, I'm gonna have some Robustos, because some cigars don't have Toros or Gordos. It's either Robusto or it could be only Toro. So you gotta make sure what sells in your shop. You gotta make sure to see consistently what are you selling, and not just buy something that's gonna stay and take your real estate on the shelf, and now you just stuck with that size. Because to be honest, brick and mortars, not all of them have online shop. It's just people just coming in basically. So
yeah, and I think it's a good point too. It's a real good point with sizes, and especially with the Robusto Toro. I'm a Robusto guy. I'm probably moving more towards the Toro, but those two are sort of interchangeable. I mean, obviously some cigars are better in the Robusto, some are better in the Toro, but I think for some lounges, to free up space, you can go, okay, I'm only going to carry this in Toro. I'm not going to carry it in the Robusto. I'm going to carry it in the Toro, the Lancero, whatever. Versus, I'm going to carry it in all 3 sizes, and you're going, well, shoot, nobody's buying the Robustos. Well, yeah, but you've got that. It's taking up real estate on your shelf because you bought that one. And I think that's the thing too that lounge owners got to look at, is going, if I'm in an area that Robustos don't sell, why am I going to put them on the shelf? Because once in a while a guy's going to come in and buy a Robusto. Hey, the Toro in that same make is just as good, if not better, than the Robusto. Try the Toro. So again, that goes back to
time to finish it. Just leave it.
Yeah. Well, yeah. What are you talking about? Probably another 10 minutes, 10, 15 minutes. The difference between a Robusto and a Toro. Yeah. So
I thought you were getting to be a Churchill guy, Mike.
I'm more and more cigars I'm trying are Churchills or Lanceros. I'm like, what I've learned is I don't like Lanceros because you've got to be smoking those pretty consistently, or they're going to go out. And I hate relighting.
Right.
Yeah. So.
And that's a very limited market when it comes to Lanceros. That's one of the sizes that lacks in a lot of lounges. You cannot really find a lot of Lancero size. First of all, it's kind of more expensive to make and more hard. But you'll get your 1 or 2 guys that'll come in. I'll ask if you guys have any Lanceros, and Oscar V with a Corojo, the Maduro, the Connecticut, and it has the case. It has a really good selection where you could go through Gordo, Toro, and Lancero, and you'll have, that guy that's going to ask for Lancero, and you kind of have to have, some Lanceros.
I think if you're going to have a Lancero in your shop, you better have done the research. You better have done the research to make sure that if you're carrying Lanceros, that those are going to sell. Because if not, they're going to sit. Guys are going to go, oh, you don't have the Toro? Okay, I'll take the Robusto. But they're not going to go, oh, you don't have the Toro? I'm going to take a Lancero. You're not going to see it. They're going to skip right over that brand and go, okay, I'm going to try this in a Robusto then, or a Toro. They're not going to bump up to the Lancero. Unless you can sell them on it, I don't think it's going to happen. So.
All right, we're hitting on 80 minutes now.
Yeah, well, and as I say, we've mentioned them a couple times, but one of our go-to sponsors for this show is Ultimate Cigar Lounge over there in Villa Park. Stop in there, see Coach, see Teddy. They'll hook you up. They'll hook you up with a Lancero or a Toro. They've got some of the great brands in there. They've got Espinosa, Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust, Aganorsa, Don Pepin, Drew Estates, LFD. You name it, they got it. Stop in there over at Ultimate Cigar Lounge. See Teddy, see Coach. Tell them you heard about him on Chiton Cigar Podcast, and they'll hook you up. Well, boys, anything else for the night?
What are you guys smoking today? I know I missed it. Probably you guys talked about it.
Oh, yeah. I had a UF4, but the cap fell off. I had that. And now it's starting to unravel a little bit. But it's still smokable.
I'm smoking the Amendola Maturo, Maturo. Not a bad smoke. The last third, I'm not really enjoying it. It's gotten some bitter flavors in there. I'm not sure what's going on with it. But the first.
Never heard that one.
Yeah, it's the Amendola. They've got the cannoli and those other ones, and it's really normally a good cigar. And the Maturo, the last third is just like going. Ooh, that's some weird flavors. So I don't know. I don't know what's going on with it. What do you got there?
I got a Mikhailov Migdalia. Yeah, he named it after. Yeah, he named it after his older roller from Mikhailov. So I just
excellent.
Yeah, I just love Mikhailov. I cannot stop smoking them. That's what I gotta say. Sorry for making fun of you. Okay, say that again.
Well, folks, we appreciate you joining in with us tonight. We're going to be back next Tuesday, and then the following Sunday, I don't know the date on that one, we're going to be reviewing the West Tampa Circle of Life. So that's going to be in 2 weeks on Sunday. It'll be a full show. We'll be talking about West Tampa and the West Tampa Circle of Life. But join us next Tuesday for another episode of the Chiton Cigar Podcast. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night. Good night, everybody.